Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Play on GAA podcast. This is another episode of the Club Roundup and this is a hurling edition. I have Luke here with me. Luke, how's it going?
Oh, good, Seamus.
All right, well, we'll start off with the Munster Hurling Semi Finals and obviously the one that kind of jumps out. Lockmore Castleiney beaten. They're out of the football and now they're out of the hurling as well. Beaten by Ballygunner by 2 goals and 11 points to 12 points. It was a bit of a wild afternoon in Dungarvan. Ballygunner into the Munster Hurling Final. And for anyone who didn't take Ballygunner serious, I think now's the time to take them serious, Luke. What did you make of this?
Yeah, look, it was a strange kind of game, I suppose, as well. And look, I think a lot of people were after the game kind of critiquing decisions made, kind of referee decisions after the game. But look, between the conditions and everything as well, it was a complete war, really. And it was one of those games that they're there to be won. And like a lot of people were kind of criticising nearly Ballygunner they were kind of suggesting that maybe they kind of done well to kind of get the Lockmore lads sent off. But look, these games are here to be won. And I think when I think of this, like Ballygunner a couple of years back played Barcelona, same time of year, same kind of conditions and stuff in the Munster Semi Final. And they were just kind of out-battled in that game. And look, I suppose in this one, like they've benefited from a few kind of maybe decisions that went their way. But look, I do think that they probably out-battled Lockmore in the day. And look, they weren't going to lose that game there. I think you could see the drive in them on the day. And it's a huge win for them, really. And but look, it was a real Titanic kind of tussle, really. Look, you saw the way the pitch kind of cut up by the end of the game. So it was to come out on top in those conditions any day is a great day for their club. Like,
yeah, no doubt. And obviously some fantastic performances from Ballygunner. Of course, Desi Hutchinson chipping in with 5 points from play. Kevin Mahoney with a goal and a point. Peter Hogan, 2 points. You know, like some good performances there from Ballygunner that, you know, did carry them over the line. But make no mistake, the red cards were massive in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I think I suppose we probably have to talk about the Noel McGrath one was he was nearly, I felt that Paddy Levy kind of struck at Noel McGrath first. The play went on and then Noel McGrath tried to return the favour with a shoulder. So look, he didn't strike. It was a shoulder kind of into a frontal kind of shoulder. What would have probably been fair in hindsight, I suppose, is that both Paddy Levy and Noel McGrath picks up yellows, I suppose. But for the second one, maybe the John McGrath one on a yellow card, he did kind of swipe the Hurley a bit at the hand. I know he was kind of flicking the ball free, but you can't swipe. When you swipe your hurl at someone's hands, you're giving the referee a decision to make. So I can understand the merit on why he was given the second yellow. I think it was just a factor that the people watching had a lot of frustration from the Noel McGrath red card in the first half. And then it was a situation when Lockmore are given a penalty, a chance to draw it back to a 1 point game. And then all of a sudden the penalty's ruled out. And then John McGrath sent off for that as well. And the game's over because they're down to 13 against 15. So I think that just led to a lot of frustration from people online. Look, John McGrath probably shouldn't have kind of swiped out there. I think it was a silly enough thing to do really there. And look, it was given a referee a decision. But yeah, I do think though, I do think though, even with 15-15, I do think that Ballygunner probably would have won the game. I thought that Lockmore had no real answer to Desi kind of in corner forwards, that they kind of persisted. Like Lorcan Egan was kind of left on his own, marking him the entire game. And look, Desi hit 5 from play. He set up the goals as well. Won a penalty too, which Stephen O'Keefe like really narrowly missed too. So it was I do think the Ballygunner did have enough in the day to come out on top, even regardless of decisions.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you there. Moving on to the other Munster Hurling Semi Final, Kilmallock. They beat Middleton by 19 points to a goal and 9. The Limerick champions beating the Cork champions. It was at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. Tony Considine's men were dominant, really, in my opinion, in every part of the match. Michael Houlihan was fantastic, scoring 11 points for Kilmallock. Now they're into the Munster final against Ballygunner. Having seen both sides in action, which would you be kind of leaning towards now?
Look, it's a very difficult one to predict this one, because I suppose what Kilmallock brought against Middleton at the weekend was that the physicality that they played with, and look, Middleton just couldn't cope with that, and they returned over kind of so much from just due to the strength of that Kilmallock side, and Yeah, so they're an absolutely bruising kind of outfit. It's kind of similar to the senior hurlers. I think right now for Limerick is that they're just bringing a level of intensity and physicality the teams often can't match with. You look at the Ballygunner team and you look at the strength kind of them from 1 to 15, and you're looking at that saying that yeah, look, Ballygunner should be winning this. But the fact is that Kilmallock kind of are going to bring that intensity that Ballygunner probably like they haven't really seen, although they did get a fantastic challenge against Lockmore, and look, that game's going to really stand to them. So look, it overall, I think it's a really really hard one to call. But yeah, I think I would lean Ballygunner right now because at the same time, like they won't be the same as Middleton. I think Middleton just completely folded to Kilmallock, and they just tried to play. It might, some people might say it's epitomizing kind of Cork hurling at the moment, that they try to play short through the hands the whole time, and just when there was that bit of physicality around the middle, they were bullied. So I just can't see Ballygunner being bullied. You look at that Philip Mahoney, I suppose, in particular, at centre half back was absolutely huge. He won like a world of ball for Ballygunner, and like the likes of him won't be bullied the same way that Middleton were. So in that way, I probably would be leaning Ballygunner right now, but it's going to be very very tight.
Yeah, I'm more or less the same. I think Ballygunner have too much firepower. Even Kilmallock were so impressive. Like especially as you mentioned around the middle, Aaron Costello was outstanding. And Kilmallock at the back were absolutely fantastic. I mean, Cormac Bosang had been heralded as being, one of, potentially making the Cork side, that he was outstanding for Middleton all the way through, and he was held to just a point from play. So I mean, that just tells you all you need to know about how strong the Kilmallock defence is, and as well as that, obviously, a goal and nine to concede in a Munster senior semi final is pretty impressive. And to go in now against Ballygunner, I know Ballygunner have like the incredible forward line, but one thing we know now is that Kilmallock do have a very, very solid defence. It'll be interesting to see, in my opinion, who picks up Desi Hutchinson.
Yeah, absolutely. And the another interesting kind of aspect I thought from the weekend was that Paddy O'Loughlin kind of making his comeback there, and after kind of missing all the previous club games this year, came off the bench anyway to replace Aaron Costa on 55 minutes. And yeah, look, he took some time out from the Limerick senior panel, but he was at a stage that he was seriously pushing for that starting 15. So it'd be really, really interesting one to watch to see if he comes back in for a Munster final and if he's in from the start. So yeah, and look, I think it's a great point you make about who picks up Desi Hutchinson. I think like the natural marker for him would be Aaron Costello, but Costello's been playing in around midfield this year. So I assume they're going to keep with that, and maybe you might see something like Dan Joy picking up Desi Hutchinson from the start, I reckon, and just to see if they can kind of slow him down a bit. But like right now, if it's played on a proper surface and stuff as well, like I think Desi's just I think he's playing on a level right now that not many kind of forwards in the country could match.
Yeah, I agree. I think right now he is one of, if not the most dangerous forwards in the country. So we're saying Ballygunner to win then?
Yeah, I would probably lean to Ballygunner by a point or two, but I would be interested to see kind of if Kilmallock are able to kind of dominate physically again. But I'm just going off the basis that I think that Ballygunner kind of won't be as much of a kind of pushover around the middle, kind of the middle eight as Middleton were, and for that reason, I'd back their forwards more than Kilmallock. So yeah, probably lean Ballygunner by just a few.
It will certainly be interesting to see how it turns out. And speaking of forwards that are shooting the lights out, Stephen Picky Mars at it again as Clough Ballycollar stun Kilmacud Crokes. 1 goal and 16 points to 1 goal and 13 points. Crokes are out. It was in O'Moore Park. Declan Laffin's charges were absolutely fantastic. Stephen Maher hitting a goal and 8. Means that they're into the Leinster final. This is the first Laois side since 2001 to reach this stage, and they'll play against Ballyhale Shamrocks, who we'll get on to later. But first of all, what a performance by Clough Ballycollar.
Yeah, look, absolutely, and I think they got it absolutely kind of spot on. I suppose it was a mixture of kind of Clough Ballycollar getting everything kind of right tactically before the start of the game, and Kilmacud kind of getting everything wrong. And it was clear that Clough kind of they did their homework on Kilmacud. That Kilmacud kind of their game plan was very kind of obvious that they they would drop their kind of half forward line very deep, and Lorcan McMullen would go out around midfield too, and it would leave just a load of space for Ronan Hayes and Considine in the full forward line. So what CLOUGH just basically did was they kept their half back line in place, kept them there, and that there was no space in front of Hayes and Considine. So like at that stage, I think you suppose that Kilmacud just kind of kept hitting ball in despite this complete lack of space. And look, Darren Maher absolutely cleaned up. And after Ronan Hayes' great year, look, Darren Maher like completely dominated that matchup, I think there. And yeah, it was resounding, I suppose, for CLOUGH in the end. Really, it was 3 points probably. The 3 point loss kind of favoured CROKES a little bit. I thought CLOUGH were kind of completely in control of the game, really. But as well, just from the CROKES perspective, if I could just say, like, it didn't really make much sense to me. The whole game plan was that in a situation when a team is dropping their half back line in front, deeper in front of that full forward line to stop the ball going in, it should indicate that the fellas out your half forward line out the field should probably be unmarked if they're dropping deep. So when the long ball isn't on, you start playing it through the hands and you start taking shots from further out the field, but they continuously insisted on lumping ball into that full forward line. And look, CLOUGH just completely mopped it up. And once CROKES kept doing that for the entire game, like CLOUGH were delighted with that. And look, they had more kind of up front on the day than Kilmacud too.
Yeah, no, they played it into their hands, because you look at the fact that Ronan Hayes only got 1 point from play and Alex Considine didn't even score, and those two were the main men for them the entire way up to this point. Hayes and Considine, particularly against Na Fianna, were the constant outlet. Hayes was outstanding. I remember that day. He had a bit of a mad day, obviously missing the penalty, but then scoring the goal right at the end. He was CROKES' go-to man. And the way the Ballycollar just shut them down was very, very impressive. And obviously now they go in to play against Ballyhale in the final. Ballyhale Shamrocks looking potentially, on wobbly legs. I mean, they beat St. Ryan's of Offaly 324 to 218, but it took them extra time to do it. After 4 years without a knockout defeat, Ballyhale were looking it right in the eye. Owen Cody with a late goal that broke St. Ryan's hearts. That took it extra time. And then Ballyhale got the job done from there, but not looking as strong as we would have expected, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, absolutely, and it's nowhere near as resounding as what we've kind of come to expect from them in recent years. Kind of when we've seen their path kind of getting to All-Ireland finals in recent years, when they've kind of they've hammered every team in their path. But I think they were heavy favourites going into this Rhinos game, really, and a lot of people were saying they worried where the scores were going to come for Rhinos. But look, Rhinos were a puck of the ball away from knocking them out here, and it was a fantastic effort by them. And look, I suppose once Ballyhale got back into once they got that goal from Owen Cody to get back to extra time, they got the full 15 back, and they sent Owen Reid on anyway as the 15th man that they could replace with the red card. They were comfortable from there, and they ultimately won extra time by 9 points. He made a huge difference, Owen Reid, when he came on too. So did Darren Mullen as well in extra time. But it's look, I think you make a great point in that they're just not quite looking as comfortable, and they're relying kind of on, like, Adrian Mullen had to hit 5 points, Owen Cody had to hit 2-3, and look, they're just relying on kind of a bit of magic up front, and it's not quite as comfortable as what people were expecting, kind of getting through Leinster this year, in a year when maybe some of the best teams in Leinster kind of haven't really kind of made it so far. So look, it'll be an interesting one going forward to that Leinster final.
Yeah, and the other thing is that they took their eye off the ball. Like, they were 2-6 to 3 points up at the first water break. I mean, how did they let it slip from there?
Yeah. Look, I suppose the Joey Cudahy red card was huge, and that it came kind of with a fair portion of the game left, and sent off by the ref for was a high tackle. Kind of a few people kind of questioned it a little bit, but then I think most people kind of accepted that he probably had to go for it. But I suppose from that point on, look, Rhinos kind of did start to take over the game really completely, and look, they had some great performances as well by Quirk and corner forward as well, Luke O'Connor too. They've Ben Keneally at centre half back, who's still kind of one of the top players kind of in the country, and probably doesn't get the recognition he deserves. But yeah, and so as well, actually, Pat Hughes come in. He didn't actually start the game, but came in for Pat come on very, very quickly into the game due to injury. He came on and hit with goal too. So they had some great performances, but I suppose in the end, look, you just can't write it off Ballyhale right now. And yeah, it was, there was nearly a bit of inevitability about it, kind of that Ballyhale were going to do something anyway to just kind of stay in games. And look, I suppose that man Owen Cody stepping up again, kind of exactly when he's needed.
Yeah, definitely. And he's fully grown into one of the leaders of this side. And that does bring me on to my next question. Obviously, we talked about how impressive Clough Ballycollar were and how that they've already taken one scalp. So my next question is, can they take the biggest scalp of all and knock out Ballyhale and win the Leinster title?
The So you first of all, I suppose, look, Ballyhale will be without Joey Cuddihy next week, kind of for the final. So I'd assume Owen Reid will probably kind of come in and start from the start there. But that's it. That is a big loss for Ballyhale. The only difference I would say is that, like kind of Cook Ballycollar, they won their games. Like that game they won was in Portlaoise. It was a home game, kind of really tough conditions. I would fear for a Leinster final, a big wide open pitch, kind of the conditions probably would be a little bit better. I'd imagine they probably can't have been much worse than what they were. So, like, if that's on, that'll be on up in Croker, probably that Ballyhale playing up there with all that space in front of them with that forward line. I would find it very, very hard to kind of see how kind of Cluck can slow down that forward line when there's that much more space and a far kind of smoother surface. That was the thing, was that for Ballyhale, the problem is for them is that they can get caught maybe in a wintry kind of pitch when they have to go to on a away day down the country somewhere. And look, they've managed to drag themselves through that just about kind of by the skin of their teeth. It was the same Mount Leinster the week before that too. But look, they've got themselves into their finals now, and this is kind of when the conditions improve, and this is kind of when the point when Ballyhale start to get more and more convincing as the as the club championship has gone on traditionally. So I'd be leaning Ballyhale to kind of after that scare to kind of get their house in order. And look, I do think they'll win that Leinster final.
Yeah, I agree. But I am rooting for the underdog. I do love an underdog story. And if Clough went on to win Leinster, I think it would be a mighty achievement. But I do think that Ballyhale's experience, I mean, obviously the amount of Kilkenny senior hurlers in the Ballyhale side who have played in Croke Park on All Ireland final day, there'll be a few Clough Ballycollar lads, I imagine, who will have rarely played on Croke Park, if ever. So Ballyhale definitely hold the advantage there. And as you mentioned, it's a big open pitch. They won't be able to really make it as much of a scrap of a game as they would have if it was down the country somewhere. So I am leaning towards Ballyhale with all that firepower that they have. And I think then we might see them wake up and become strong All-Ireland contenders. So moving on then from the Leinster Hurling Championship up to Ulster. And the matchup that we were craving for a long time, Slaughtneil and Dunloy, that went down. Slaughtneil seeing off Dunloy to advance to another Ulster Hurling final. They won by a goal in 18 to Dunloy's 14 points. This means that they'll now face Downs Ballycran in the decider. Do you see Slaughtneil win the whole thing now?
Yeah, look, I thought this was hugely impressive by Slaughtneil, and that going into it, like it was one of these games that was kind of big. Those game of two halves, kind of the strength of the winds and everything as well. But Slaughtneil's kind of performance in the second half against the wind was just immense, really. And even in a situation like the last couple of minutes where like Dunloy pulled it back to 4 points, but yet Slaughtneil hit the last 3 points into the wind as well. So it's they were really, really good. And against the Dunloy side, that kind of were well fancied, that everybody was talking about how kind of all the experience that their lads got playing for Antrim as well, playing Division 1 hurling and everything. So for Slaughtneil to kind of to come out on top of this, like it's a huge result. And you're looking at the strength of that team, kind of the two McCagues, like, and Cassidy in fullback, who just recently been awarded kind of for his exploits, kind of playing inter-county during the week. And look, Micheál McGrath as well from wing back, hitting 3 points. Like, there's some absolutely quality players in that team as well. And we're going to probably talk about like Brendan Rodgers' performance now in a minute. So yeah, look, I think based off that result, I'd be really, really hard to look past Slaughtneil kind of to not win Ulster right now.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, they are my favourites, no question. Brendan Rodgers, as you mentioned, what a performance from him, hitting a goal in 4. Shane McGuigan as well, Chrissy McKay. There have a lot of names kind of synonymous with the Derry footballers. Obviously, you talked about, now I backed them to win the Ulster Championship, same as you do. And I'm not looking past Ballycran here, but say that they get through this Ulster final. Do you give them a chance against the big boys, the Ballyhales, the Ballygunners, the Kilmallochs? Do you give them a shot against them?
Yeah, look, I think like they have to be considered based off this as well. That we've talked there. Some of the names have been mentioned. Like there's a like I know that the standard that they're playing at intercounty level is not the same probably as some of the who they'll be coming up against. But there's plenty of intercounty experience on that team. Like a fair portion of the team have been playing at that level, and as well, Slaughtneil they have plenty of experience kind of getting to that stage already to get into semi-finals and everything. And in a year kind of when albeit that Ballyhale will be there and Thomas's will be there, they're potentially going to be looking like that. They're going to be playing a team from Munster that hasn't really been at that stage in the last couple of years too. So look, I think there's an absolute kind of there's a great chance for them if they can get over the line against Ballycran that they will seriously put it up to them. I might have few questions about the same kind of worries I had with CLOUGH Ballycolla is that maybe if they got up to Croke Park playing against the likes of Ballyhale on a wide open pitch, like do they have the ability to kind of stop the likes of an Adrian Mullen, TJ Reid, and an Owen Cody, Colin Fennelly? Like I'm not fully sure about that, and that's why I think that once kind of the games get to Croke Park, it's very hard to look past Ballyhale and probably Ballygunner. I think is my favourites. I think for the Club All Ireland right now.
Yeah, I would agree, but these shocks have happened before. I mean, go back to 2011, 2012. Lochiel Shamrocks from Antrim, they beat Kildare in the final to be Club All Ireland champions. Then if you move the clock on a little bit forward, Royo Cushendall from Antrim, they made the final, played against them, the Piercing side from Limerick. They went down by 11 points, albeit, but they made the final. So it'll be interesting to see how this Lough side does, in my opinion. They have been bounced around for a while and they haven't made the breakthrough yet. But do you think that this is probably their best chance to do so, perhaps?
Yeah, look, absolutely. And look, I think like everyone's been kind of looking into this right now, but there's a lot of confusion over who's actually playing who when you get to the semi-finals. Is that who are there's been talk. Some people are saying that the Ulster winners will be playing the Connacht winners, which would be St. Thomas's, or some people are saying Ulster will be playing Leinster and stuff as well. So nobody's fully sure, I think, right now, kind of who's playing who at that stage yet. I don't know if there's a draw or something still to come, but there's no real information given by the GAA about this. But yeah, I think it depends on the draw. If they got kind of the Connacht winners, which St. Thomas have been obviously put forward as, I think they have a fantastic chance of overturning St. Thomas and that and getting into a final. So it's I think it's a great opportunity for them, and they'll probably be looking at Ballyhale right now, probably not as convincing as they were the last couple of years, and they'll probably be viewing this as probably as their best chance that they're going to have to win one.
Yeah, well, it will be fascinating to see how it turns out in the end. So, guys, that is the Play On GAA podcast, another episode of the Hurling Edition. Don't forget to catch our football action and our camogie action. Leave a like and comment below this video, and please subscribe. And until next video, take care.